Hey traders, welcome back to another Python script tutorial. My name is Matthew from Zen and the Art of Trading, and today I'm excited to ramp things up a notch and explain to you how to create a higher time frame indicator that references the previous day's high and low and doesn't repaint. Now, if that sounds like a mouthful to you that you just don't understand, then I highly recommend you go back a few lessons, maybe to the start if you're new to Python script. But what are we doing here? Well, let's go out to the daily chart first of all and hide this indicator. And let me draw in a couple of lines. So first of all, let me draw in the high of this day and the low of this previous day. The script that I'm going to teach you how to code today will do just this. It will draw the previous day's high and low over your intraday charts. So now if we drop down to a 1 hour chart, you can see that the high of the day was this wick here and the low of the day was this wick here. And everything that is happening today as of this bar here is within the context of this previous day's high and previous day's low. So all of these bars, this is basically all of today has been an inside bar, meaning that the high and low of today's bar is contained within the high and low of the previous day's bar. And so if we get a breakout today, that'll create a new high, new daily high. And that's the purpose of creating the script I'm going to show you how to create today. We can use this script to see how price action is performing within the bounds of the previous day's high and low. But I'm going to take this lesson one step further today, and I'm going to show you how to achieve this without repainting to your chart. So before I continue, if I turn the script off, today I'm going to recreate a script I made a while ago. So if you type into the indicators box HTF, you'll see here this indicator by Zen and the Art of Trading called higher time frame high and low. If you click on that, this script does basically the same thing. The difference is I haven't updated it yet. Let me change this to daily. But this script repaints. Repainting is the arch nemesis of all beginner Python script coders. Basically, what this is doing is that on historical bars, it's referencing the previous day's high, which is what we want. But on the current bar, as it's moving, as the price is changing, our value is changing. So if I hover my mouse over the current bar, you can see that that's where these values change. They diverge from the historical values. The reason for that is that these historical values are referencing the previous day's high, and this current value is referencing the current daily bar's high, because every time price action moves, it recalculates the higher time frame values. We don't want that, not on this particular script. In some scripts you may want that, but on this particular script, we do not want this. What we want is this, a clean line, a clean value that shows us the previous day's high in context of the current price action. So you can see here that price action is actually breaking through the previous day's high. But if I turn on the repainting script, our high is changing with price action. So today I'm going to show you how to eliminate that. I'm going to show you how to manipulate higher time frame data to show the high and low of the previous day or week. Change this to week, and it will show the previous week's high and low. And so all of that and more in today's lesson. Let's get straight into the coding. So first things first, let's start with a blank slate. I'm going to create a new blank indicator script, and I'm going to save it and call it lesson 9. And so here we have a blank script. I'll get rid of some of this because it's unnecessary for today. And now we have a clean blank script, or blank canvas if you will. So I'm going to rename this script lesson 9. You can call it whatever you want to. And I'm going to set the overlay to true. Now, as always, I'd like to begin my scripts by getting the user input variables. So I'm going to write a comment here saying get user input. And the first input we're going to get is what time frame to reference. So I'm going to call this res, short for resolution. I'm going to use the inbuilt input function. It's going to have a title, a settings title of time frame. And it's going to be of type input dot control space to bring this box up. Resolution is what we're looking for. So that's another word for time frame. The final variable we're going to put into this input function is the default value. And today we're going to be using D. So our default higher time frame reference is going to be the daily chart. You can change this to whatever you like. You could change it to W for weekly or even M for monthly, but I'm going to leave mine as D for daily because that's what most intraday traders will be referencing. That's the only input variable we need for this lesson. So let's move on to the next line of code. So the next thing we're going to do here is create our own custom function. Now this is going to be a little bit advanced. So if you're new to PineScript, don't freak out. This is going to be a little bit difficult to understand, but I'll do my best to explain it in a way that makes sense to both people who are proficient with programming and those who are new to this stuff. A function is something like plot. You can see this is an inbuilt PineScript function created by the PineScript development team and the TradingView developers. But you can also create your own custom functions. So say that there's a repetitive complex task you want to keep doing in your scripts that PineScript doesn't provide an inbuilt function for, well, you can just create your own. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. We're going to create our own security function that eliminates repainting. And the first thing we need to do, just like any variable in PineScript, we need to define what the variable is called. So in this case, I'm going to call it RP, short for repaint, underscore function. So this is our repaint function, or it should be called NRP, non-repainting function, but I'll keep it RP for short because it's just easier to write. And this RP function, unlike a typical variable, which is assigned a value based on an inbuilt PineScript function or operation, this function actually requires input variables. So the input variables we're going to reference here is the symbol, the current market we're trading, and the resolution, the current time frame we're trading, and also source, so our open, high, low, or close. So now we've defined our custom function and we've defined what inputs it takes. Now we need to assign it to an expression. Basically, we need to tell PineScript what this function does. And the way we do that is using an equal sign, just like when we're assigning a variable to a value. But instead of just leaving the equal sign, we're also going to put a right arrow on the end. So this is saying the repaint function with these inputs is defined by this next line of code. And so what we're going to reference here is we're going to reference the inbuilt security function. So our custom function is going to return the inbuilt security function while taking our custom inputs into consideration. And so the way we do that is we'll write underscore symbol, underscore res, and underscore source. And so now we can hit save, and this will compile. And it's still plotting the closing price, but our function is created. And right now, this is just duplicating the security function. It's returning exactly what this would do if we were to say, if we were to use this inbuilt security function with the default values. So I'm going to leave this for now, and we'll come back to it in a second. First of all, we're going to get our price data. In this case, it's higher time frame price data. And what we want to get is the higher time frame high and the higher time frame low. And so higher time frame high is going to be assigned to our custom repaint function. And for the market, the symbol, it's going to take our current symbol, Aussie CAD. So we're going to write in siminfo.ticker or ticker ID, ticker ID. So that's the ticker identification tag, in this case, AUDCAD. It's going to take res, which is this variable here we created. So we can change our time frame value. So by default, it's going to take a daily time frame input. And the source is going to be the high. So the high time frame low is going to be exactly the same repaint function that takes an input of symbol info.ticker ID, our custom resolution variable, which is set to daily by default, and it's going to reference the low source. The source for this custom function input is going to be low. So high and low, high time frame high, high time frame low. So now we can draw these values to our chart. So let's overwrite this close value with higher time frame high. We're going to color it red, and we're going to title it high time frame high. Then we're also going to plot the high time frame low. It's going to have a color of blue, and it's going to be titled high time frame low. If I hit save, that should draw these values to our chart. And there we go. But notice it's repainting. Every time the current intraday bar changes its value, so does the higher time frame, high and low. We don't want that. We want to eliminate that so that this previous day's high continues drawing until the current day's bar closes. So how do we do that? Let's come back up to our custom function. This is why we created this custom repaint function. Now, if we add onto the end of source 2 square brackets and a conditional statement, then we can eliminate repainting altogether. So our conditional statement is going to be if the bar state dot control space is real time question mark 1, otherwise 0. And what this is saying is if the current daily bar, higher time frame bar is real time, meaning it hasn't closed yet, it's not a historical bar, then we want to reference the previous day's source, high, low, close, open. Otherwise, if this bar is not real time, meaning it is a historical bar, then we do want to reference that day's high or low. And now you can see that repainting has gone away. As the intraday bar changes its value, the high and low is no longer changing with it. And so we've just eliminated repainting. We're drawing the previous day's high and low to our chart. And if we go out to the daily chart, we zoom right in, as this daily chart bar is moving, the high and low is not moving. When this daily bar closes, these lines will adjust for today's closing prices high and low, and those lines will draw over tomorrow's intraday price action. And so there we have our completed indicator. It's not repainting, it's drawing the high and low of the previous days, the higher time frames bar, and we can adjust this to whatever we want. We could change this to 1 week, and it will now draw the previous week's high and low. And so if price action gets down here, there's a good chance it could act as support. And so that brings me to the end of today's lesson. I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that it made sense to you. If not, go back and watch the previous lessons. It may make this lesson make more sense if you haven't watched them yet. Otherwise, if you want to take your PineScript coding to the next level, I've left a link in the description to my advanced PineScript course that I'm working on, where I go into far more structured detail about all of these different functions of PineScript and how they all come together to create an indicator or strategy script. So if you're excited about PineScript and you'd like to take your coding to the next level, I highly encourage you to check that one out. And I should quickly mention that anyone who signs up to my mailing list to be informed of when the advanced course releases will receive a 50% discount off the opening price. So if you're interested in that, head over now to my website. The link is in the description, and sign up to be notified about the course release. Otherwise, I'll be back soon with a new free PineScript tutorial where I think I'll probably cover time zones, and I'll show you how to plot data within a particular time zone. So thank you for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I'm excited to see you guys in the advanced PineScript course or on my next free video. So I'll speak to you then. Take it easy, everyone. Goodbye.